welcome, everybody, to the Formula One World Championship, Round 9 from Española. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome,
Hello?
Fabio.
Yes. Hello.
Thank you. And lucky. I wish I'd been so lucky.
Good evening.
Good evening. Drugs are kicking in. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
I paid $200 for those, Fabio. I'm charging it to the show. Welcome,
listen.
Bob Elvis. Go ahead.
I mean, if that's the effect, that's something that I would gladly, chime in.
Okay, yeah, glad you put in full.
Yeah.
And what drugs are you on this evening, Fabio? Would you like to show us?
Oh yes. I'm with this bad boy.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Pliny the Elder.
Yes.
That's a beer. That's a beer which is what, nearly, I don't know, 1,600 years old, probably a bit more than that.
No, it's kind of really hard to buy. I mean, and keep in mind, I'm in Italy right now, so I had a couple of friends, coming from California, and they were so kind to give me a couple of bottles. It's really hard to find, even in in the West Coast area of the U.S. where it's brewed, but it's really good. Yeah.
Hello, Sonny. Welcome.
Hey, Sonny.
Welcome. There we go. Thank you. And hello, Dave. Thank you very much for being here. Captive Desk.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I? Round 9, Española.
You were talking about drugs, but yeah, I think
I was talking about drugs. Yes.
Yeah.
Lucky, are you on drugs this evening?
Possibly. I'll find out shortly.
Yeah, okay, that sounds fair enough.
possibly is the right answer. It's definitely on some hard drugs. Possibly. Yes.
Yeah. We were talking about Judge Jesse. That's why we were talking about drugs. Anyway, Spain. We were at Spain. It was an interesting race. Nothing really happened because it's Spain. Normally, where you qualify is where you finish, and you'll see by my by highlights. Basically, I'm going to watch the highlights as we're talking, as I normally do. But I fell asleep in the race because I saw I saw the run down to the first corner, and then I thought, well, there we go. That's that. Piastri's won. So I may as well just fall asleep here, have a little kip because I'm getting on. And so let's just see what happened. Piastri in pole position, Norris second, Verstappen third, Russell fourth. Piastri off to the lead, first corner, and then I'm asleep. Norris giving way. Prudence, I feel, is the best way to. And then he lets Max Verstappen past into second place. He was in third place. Lewis Hamilton, a fantastic start, goes around the outside up into fourth place with Russell behind him, Leclerc behind that, and then Antonelli. And we thought, well, there we go. That's about it. No, Hadjar decides to have a little go as well. Fantastic race by Hadjar, by the way. Alonso, I don't know whether he had a good race or a bad race. I guess it turned out to be a good race. But, yeah, sometimes it was looking pretty dodgy. But at least he was on his own, so didn't have any help. Very much like Max Verstappen, doesn't have any help from his teammate. And I have a theory about that as well. Anyway, they went on their way. Yeah, I don't know. They went on their way, and not a lot really happened. As I say, Alonso really making moves around the outside of turn 3 in spectacular fashion, which he was to do all race, by the way. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I don't know. Well, I'll talk about that later. Apart from that, it was all go. It was all go. Hamilton pushing his way off the grid, by the way, had a fantastic start. Leclerc pushing his way had a great start as well. Hamilton, as I say, taking the advantage into the first corner, going around the outside. It was very good. The two Ferraris coming together. A little scary at one point, but nonetheless, there you go. And as I say, Hamilton really taking advantage, getting into 4th place. Russell must have been pissed there. Nonetheless, it was going to be a story of tyres. So let me just talk about tyres for a little while, because that really was what the race was all about. Tyres, tyres, tyres. It was a matter of how long were your tyres going to last. And most of all the starters except one started on soft tyres, so it wasn't going to be very last. Again, a lot of crashes into turn 1 as well, mainly due to Lawson, I feel. Although it certainly wasn't his fault every time. Maybe only 50% of the time he had a crash. It wasn't long though, lap 13, before tyres wore out on Max's car, and Norris was easily able to cruise by. Max didn't put up a fight. Just let him go, realising that 3rd place was possibly his best result. And he was right. 3rd place would have been his best result. But here we go. Pretty soon after, Alonso's tyres wore out, and he went off into the gravel, manages to get back on again and recover his race somewhat. Then Albon, who had been crashed into by Lawson at one point, had to retire due to a broken car. And there we go. What could you do? Oh, Lawson also crashed into the Haas of, I think it was Behrman. And there we go. Yep. Late large onto Behrman and broke his wing, gave him some damage. It's a remarkably strong car, though, we found out, that Red Bull. And in fact, the Red Bull, this is a question I just want to pose to you guys. Both of the Racing Bulls outperformed Yuki in the Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's necessarily possible. Welcome, Nash, by the way. Nash just turned up. Thank you very much for being here.
Hi,
Nash, and any comments or things you'd like read out, please write into chat at the moment. Our format is we talk about everything and then we open it up a little bit to the chat. So please put them in there. Anyway, the question for everybody later to answer is, why is that? What is it about that Red Bull that's so shit compared to its sister team, which is at least half the funding, if not the third of the funding? How can that happen? Anyway, lap 48, pit stops happen again. Max is in, and he comes out just ahead, or just behind, I should say. Sorry, Yuki's in. Was it Yuki that was in? No, Max was in, and he came out just ahead of Yuki. And then lap 52, the Lawson decided to get together again with one of the Hasses. Again, it was Behrman. Pushes Behrman off. Behrman told to give the place back at the same time as Norris was coming through just ahead of Max. This led to a very close session between Max and Norris, but Norris's tyres were fresher and he was able to pull away again. In fact, Behrman decided to hold up Max again, who was not happy. Max was not happy. That's a theme in the rest of this race. Then Antonelli decides to take his engine out. We believe it was, according to Toto Wolff, an electrical problem. Another one of those electrical problems. Probably the piston going through the distributor. That was the electrical problem. And according to Toto...
Hold on. A distributor. This isn't 1955, you know.
But it's 1972. It's the age of the brakes, so or the gearbox. So makes sense.
There we go. And of course, I should also say, Manscaped. Do you have hairy balls, Fabio?
Oh yeah,
you do. I thought you would.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. If you've got hairy balls, you probably get hot in the summers, don't you?
Yes.
I thought you did. And you can get a fantastic thing called Manscaped, where allows you to shave your balls without the risk of making a bloody mess. Also, having shaved balls has one big advantage, not apart from the fact that all the girls love it. Apart from that, it also keeps them cool because they're not hairy. So keep your balls cool in the summer with Manscaped. Right, that's that's the money side of the show done for. Now, where are we? Oh, yeah, it was about red safety car comes out because of Antonelli, and that allowed everybody to get a free pit stop, which just about everybody did. Piastri and Norris in the first place, and then Max Verstappen in third. Unfortunately, Max Verstappen had run out of tyres. The only tyres he had left were hard tyres. He went out on the hard tyres and basically started remonstrating with his team almost straight away, and but still kept it quiet. Knew that he could do the job anyway, and unfortunately, around the first corner or the last corner into the straight after the safety car had gone in, Max made a terrible error. His tyres were not up to temperature, of course, nowhere near the temperature the other cars were. He tried to follow at the same speed, lost the rear end briefly. Phenomenal driving skills to save the car, nonetheless, but that put Leclerc right on his tail, and Leclerc superbly judged the starting line in order not to overtake too soon. When he finally did, he got past. Unfortunately, Max and Leclerc came together as Max was driving in a straight line towards the corner, and Leclerc moved across, trying to push him into the side of the track somewhat. This caused a small collision, deemed later to be of no consequence, and this pissed Max off no end. At the same time, George Russell decided to take a dive down the inside of the first corner and slightly lost the car in the wake of Leclerc. Went to countersteer and went into the side of Max, pushing Max off the track. This later deemed to be a racing incident. Max, in the meantime, had been told to give the place back to Russell by his team. Max then obviously started complaining straight away about Leclerc. Then he complained about Russell. And then in the corner 5, I think it was, Max decided to let Russell pass due to team instructions, let Russell pass, speeded up, and then tried to re-overtake Russell, and actually drove into the side of him, almost the same way that Russell had done in the first corner. I think it was somewhat retaliation. He was given a 10-second penalty for that, 3 points on his licence, and told he was a naughty boy. When asked afterwards what he thought about it, he said, quote, "It doesn't matter." So there we go. I think that was it. Then obviously the race just ended as per normal because it's Barcelona. Piastri first, Norris second, Leclerc third. And let me just get through all of that. And then Leclerc third, Russell fourth, Verstappen penalised with 10-place penalty, was it? No, 10-second penalty, which dropped him down to 10th place, with Hulkenberg in a fantastic 5th place, Hamilton 6th, Hadjar 8th, Gasly 9th, and then Verstappen 10th, Lawson 9th, Verstappen 10th, Alonso just out of the points, unlucky for Alonso. He's still keeping up his tradition of being the unluckiest driver in Formula One this season. That's basically how the race went. There's lots I missed, of course, because that's how I do it. And I guess the big talking point that we all want to know is, did Max do it intentionally or not? Of course, he never answered the question. And Russell being very diplomatic, saying, well, what do you fucking think? Are you a bunch of fucking idiots? So that was basically how that went. I'm going to pass it over to Fabio for your opinions on A, how Ferrari did, considering, and B, what do you think of the Max Verstappen incident?
So, first of all, a couple, quick words about the race in general. You're right. I mean, it was a Barcelona race, but it was. I mean, I found it interesting nonetheless. I think that so that the you mentioned the tactics, the fastest tactic according to Pirelli was either soft medium or soft medium soft, and mostly everybody just stick to the plan. I loved how I love how Red Bull, specifically with Verstappen car, they tried something different. Barcelona is a track where, especially with hot temperature, has always been at least a three stop race. Eventually, 4 stops is not uncommon. So they tried something different. So in order to get to be close to the McLaren, and kudos to them, it actually worked up until the end where they shat, outside the toilet. They just took a big dump, but they missed the the toilet, and they shat all over themselves with this, really really weird and bizarre decision to change tires and put hard tires. That happened, with the safety car of the. I think who stopped the car? Was it? Yeah, it was Antonelli's car, which uh, started the safety car, I think, which
Yeah,
is another thing.
it was Antonelli. He said
Yeah,
later, I saw some girls in one of the stands, and I was going for bunga bunga time.
yeah. I mean, this is something that eventually we'll, if it keeps going on, we'll have to talk about the fact that Mercedes right now is not a super reliable engine. All they they had issues with Antonelli again in Imola. Now an engine broke off, and then I remember something happened to Russell too. So I mean, the engine
What?
is
Alonso
what?
broke an engine as well. Alonso broke an engine
Alonso,
this year as well.
yes, yes, you're right. Alonso broke another engine, another Mercedes engine. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's something which is at least worth mentioning. But yeah, I mean, the safety car just makes everything up, and I do not understand, for the sake of me, why they stopped Verstappen. Mind you, the moment he stopped, the R tires was the only tire that was supposed to be putting on because he had no more tires. Right? He used already his three soft sets. He had no mediums, so that was the only tire which was available to him. But I mean, why they stopped him, I don't know. I mean, it was just, I think the safety car came at like 12 laps to the end or something like that, and we all know that the safety car takes at least 5 or 6 laps. I think it took 7. So yeah, it was a big mistake from Red Bull at that time, and Max knew the moment they changed his tires. He asked, what the fuck are those tires? Well, it's the only one we have. But yeah, he knew already he was in a world of trouble. Restart from the safety car, saw him almost spinning the car on the straight, and which advantaged Leclerc, which didn't do what Lando Norris usually does when he has Verstappen on his side or behind or ahead of him. He just said, fuck it, I don't care who you are. He just went for it. He went slightly to the left, very gently. I mean, it wasn't. Of course, it was intentional because he wanted to take the best corner, but he had a lot of space, and Verstappen just said, "Oh, no, 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 no." So he bumped into him so that he could complain, and then he lost it with Russell. I mean, I'm not really sure if it was on purpose with Russell. I mean, there's a weird thing. The data basically shows that so Russell on the approach of the corner was faster than Verstappen, but he braked slightly before Verstappen did, and Verstappen definitely released the brakes way after Russell did. So, I mean, I don't know if it made it on purpose. If you look it from ahead, because there are no cameras. Unfortunately, there are no cameras on the Verstappen car on the driving position. But if you see from the head, you just see the Red Bull lunges, at the mid corner, and it bumps into Russell. That is illegal anyway because Russell was ahead at the apex, so they decided to. They told him, give him back the position. That's what happened, and then he got the penalty, and everything happened, according as what you said. So you asked about the yes about what how Ferrari did, I think, and you asked something else, which I can't
Sorry,
remember
I
for
was
the sake.
muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked two things: how Ferrari did, and a talking
Yeah.
point later, which I want to get to. So I won't remind you
Hmm.
now. Just go for Ferrari. Also, if you could read the private chat, both of you, Lucky, especially now. But go ahead,
Yeah.
talk about Ferrari for us, please.
Yeah.
How did they
Yeah.
get on?
Well, I mean, they get it the same way that they've got the whole year. So with the car, the new technical directive, which we talked about it, didn't really change anything. Uh, Even if, as I said before, Red Bull was, really hoping that they were sure it was going to change something. Toto was, again saying, "Oh, it's going to be a game changer." Everybody said it was a game changer. It wasn't. So Ferrari performed the same way that they did. They got third because of good driving from Leclerc with that kind of car, while Hamilton couldn't really make the best of it because that car doesn't suit his driving style like at all, like no way. Maybe Leclerc is more used to that kind of behavior from the car, so he can squeeze a little bit more performance from the package as a whole. But still, I think they're in the same situation, and nothing has really changed. They got third because again they got kind of lucky that the safety car came in and Red Bull just made that big mistake. But yeah, I mean, I guess his position was, if everything went okay, was either fourth or fifth, depending on how Mercedes was doing.
Thank you. Hi, Sandy. How are you? Hi, Minnow. And everybody says hi, Minnow. And obviously, Nash, I've just sent you. I've just sent you a little Discord message. Okay, over to you, Lucky. If you guys just respond quickly to private chat, Fabio. Over to you, Lucky. How did you find the
Yeah.
race?
How did I find the race? Well, let's start, of course, with my man, Hijack Hijar, who once again has proved that he's going to be the next ex-Max Verstappen teammate, I'm thinking, because ninth in qualifying and seventh in the race were miles ahead of Lawson, who was 13th and 11th in qualifying in the race, and then Tsunoda, who was 20th and 12th in the race. And of course, as you mentioned earlier, Simos, Tsunoda's in the big team. He's got the car with all the money in it. So how long until Tsunoda is replaced by Hajar? That seemed to be the next logical move for him to be within the Red Bull team. But of course, will we then find that Hajar goes and ends up being a Lawson or a Tsunoda after he joins the big team, as Lawson and Tsunoda and Perez and every other teammate he's had end up?
Just to point this out, Mike Crack says he's probably going to be the same as all the others. Mike Crack says that.
Does he? Oh, well, there you go. Well, speaking of Mike Crack, you may have noticed, ladies and gentlemen, that one Lance Stroll was absent from the Grand Prix this weekend. 14th place he managed to qualify himself in. However, there are rumors that he's a complete twat. There are also rumors that after qualifying, Lance Stroll injured himself while having a temper tantrum in the Aston Martin garage. Now, is it true? Is it not true? What does Mike Crack think? Does Mike Crack think it's true? What do you think, Mike Crack?
Hang on a second. Yeah, I'm really with you. I think Mike Crack says, yeah, we were a bit worried because he started smashing the place up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we think that that's really what happened. Is he started smashing the place up because he was so pissed off at not being into qualifying too. and once again, and he's blaming it on everything. He's decided to throw a lot of toys out of the pram, and in the end, he threw himself out.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So that's what we really think happened. But whether it's true or not,
No,
I don't know.
That is actually what happened. He just threw a tantrum. He just started throwing shit up in the box. He also broke some equipment, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he stormed out of the pit, the box, with saying, "Okay, I'm gonna take the ball, and nobody's playing anymore because the ball is mine. I'm gonna take the ball home." But
apparently, after the incident, he was supposed to go to the weighbridge, get weighed. However, he avoided that and just walked away and claimed that he was seeking medical attention because of a previous injury, his cycling injury that was causing him problems. So I think what we can say about the weekend is that Lance Stroll once again proved that he's a twat.
And that isn't just your crack saying that, is it?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, on a side note, I'm sorry, I'll be really quick. On a side note, a psychiatrist is a doctor, so maybe when he said he was looking for a doctor intervention, we don't know what kind of doctor. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of Valium is what he was looking for.
Well, yes, maybe something a bit more than that, but I don't know. I'm not saying that morphine is the drug of choice, but there you go. Anyway, look, thank you very much. Go ahead, Lucky. Do you have something else you want to?
Yeah, well, a couple other things, of course.
Okay, go ahead.
I cannot see Adrian Newey putting up with this nonsense. I just cannot see it happening. We all know what Adrian Newey's like. He's a down the middle guy, and I just do not think he'll put up with Lance Stroll.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I tend to agree. Although people say the same thing about Alonso, so there we go.
And also, Adrian Newey right now is literally covered in money. So I think that might help.
Yeah.
So,
okay, get your point. I get your point.
Yeah.
Might overlook some of the shortcomings of some of the drivers. Fair enough. I mean, there is, if your dad's rich enough to buy a Formula One team for you, why not? I mean, some kids get a train set for Christmas. Lance Stroll got a Formula One team, so there we go. Let's just have a look. Sylvia says it might not be the drug of choice, but it's not a terrible one to choose sometimes. You're not wrong, especially on a podcast night. Newey's being paid to give his son a title, so he'll put up with it. Yeah, more than likely. Question: what place would Verstappen have he got if he drove the V-Carb in Spain? Oh, wow! What a question, Bob, coming through. Okay, let's just. I'm intending now. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm springing this on you to some degree. I think I might have mentioned it once before, but I'm going to invite somebody on for the first time ever because I think the conversation will be better if I shut the fuck up. So that's basically what I'm going to do. Let me just send the link in. I don't know if they will join, but if they want to, they're more than welcome. So I'm just going to do that shortly. There we go.
Okay, so listen, while you do that, just a quick remark about the V-Carb thing. The V-Carb is the Racing Bull, whatever the fuck it's called. I mean, I would still call it Minardi, okay, just for the sake of it, just to piss everybody off.
Just to remind everybody that they're Italian.
Where it's coming from, right? I mean, that is at best a middle position car, and it's an easier car to drive. So I'm not surprised that it is doing good. So that would be my my comment. I don't think that Verstappen would do any better with that car than on the Red Bull, for the same reason why Tsunoda and everybody else has got so many difficulties driving the Red Bull. I mean, ever since Albon tried it, everybody has been saying the very, very same thing. Usually, I mean, if you want to drive a fast car in F1, you got to have a really precise front end. That is generally the general consensus, that your front has got to be nailed. And the car that Verstappen is driving is super extreme in that uh, point. So
Right.
if on an F1 car you usually start steering just before the apex, with the Red Bull, you steer at the apex. So it's really extreme and super difficult to drive for everybody else but Max Verstappen. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I think it's his car, and it wouldn't do any better with the V car.
Okay, I'll say all my controversial stuff at the end then. So, Lucky, what
Yes.
do you think?
Yeah, he's got this, as Fabio said, and we've mentioned it before. He's got this weird driving style with the late braking and the late turn in, to get out of the corner as straight as he can, and it seems to be working for him. However, it doesn't work on all tracks. And I think Spain is one of the tracks that it doesn't quite work on, because there's so many directional changes that all come together. I don't think the car suits that.
Yeah, I think an oversteering car in on a circuit where there's such long corners is not the best setup. I think Damon Hill proved that, like in '96 or something. So yeah, I think also that style of driving isn't suited for this particular circuit. So having a car set up that way to exaggerate that is even worse. However, I do want to talk about. So I don't think I think Verstappen's car is the best he can get. I mean, that's simply it's the best a man can get. Very much like Manscaped. But no, sorry, I'm fucking diverting again. I've taken too many drugs today. That's the problem. Yeah, like, I don't think he'd do any better in the V carb. Like I genuinely think that Hadja. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, Sonoda's the one we should be comparing. If Sonoda had had the V carb, would he have beaten Hadja? That's the question I
Yes.
want you guys
Yes.
to answer.
I don't think so.
That's a yes for me.
Mhm.
Yeah, totally. I think it's a better driver than Ajar, and he would have beaten him. The thing
Currently,
again.
yeah,
Yeah.
currently for
Yeah.
sure. Hadja's obviously got a lot of potential,
Oh
but
yeah,
he's
sure.
certainly isn't the deal yet. Anyway, although he's been very good, of course. And I think you're right. I think Sonoda would have beaten him. So the question is, how in a car, right, which has more money spent on it than like 3 times the amount of money spent on it, in fact, than Hadja's car, can Sonoda finish so far back in the last few races? There has to be something more than just the driver. That's what I'm putting to you guys. I think it is obvious, looking from the onboard cameras, right, between Verstappen driving that car and Sonoda driving that car, they are different cars. They're not even in the same fucking ballpark.
No.
One looks like it's had, if their budget is 500 million, say, right, for Red Bull, it looks like 400 million got spent on Verstappen's car and only 100 million got spent on Tsunoda's car. And I'm saying that we know that they have different parts on. We know that already, okay? But I think there's more to it than that. I think that there are certain things that are going on behind the scenes we'll probably never be privy to until 20 years down the line when somebody writes a book about it, right? That mean that Max has much more resources available to keep his car going than Verstappen does, than Tsunoda does. It's almost like Tsunoda looks like. Sorry, I'll rant first because this is my first rant of the program. This is the first time. I mean, I noticed it in practice, especially right when you see Verstappen, he accelerating into corners, right, and putting his foot down before the apex and coming out absolutely on rails, and you see Tsunoda, right, waiting till he's halfway out the corner before he can even get his foot down, before he even tries to put his foot down, right? That isn't driving style. Tsunoda was doing that in the V carb, right? He was driving it like that a different way in the V carb. So that's purely down to the car's, potential grip levels. Why that's happening, we don't exactly know.
Well, I mean, I try to be as simple as I can.
I'm
So
going
I
to
give
need it,
Lucky.
Fabio.
Yeah. So I give no. Well, so I want to give Lucky all the time about that. But in a nutshell, my opinion. Well, we're going to start from the assumption that those are two completely different cars. Okay, the balance, the chassis, they're different cars. What I think it happens is that so usually when you drive a car really fast, if you're not, you know, top of your class or whatever, you want a car which is slightly. You rather have a car which is understeering because understeer makes the car safer. It will not make the car faster, but it makes the car safer. So what I'm saying is that if you put uh, um, it, it's easier to go fast with an understeer car, but you will never go as fast as with a proper pointy car and slightly oversteer. So that would be the first thing. So I'm not surprised that the jar got where it got because it's a good car overall. The problem between the Verstappen and Tsunoda is that again, Tsunoda is not used to have such a pointy car with the front. And the main difference, you said it right. I mean, the Verstappen just guns it after the corner and it goes fast. But the reason is because the Verstappen has such a confidence in his driving style and the front of the car that he steers way later. So his corners are not the usual thing that you see. They approach the apex and then go down. It's a way more go there and turn and go. But that takes a lot of confidence in the car, which is something that Tsunoda doesn't have. So what happens is that Tsunoda is driving the car the way he was driving the V carb, basically steering way before the car is supposed to be. He finds himself at the apex too far. He has to open the steering wheel again, and then he has to close it again. And this movement is the one where he's supposed to be on the gas and piling on, from the corner. And this is where his problem is right now. He hasn't got the confidence in the front that the Verstappen has. That's the gist of it.
Okay, over to you, Lucky.
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing, obviously, because none of his teammates have managed to conquer this car the way that Max has, or adapt to this driving style the way Max is doing. It's a weird way he takes the corners, and it takes a lot of practice to do the corners the way Verstappen does. And if these guys, they can either adapt to the car, or they can be also runs as they are at the moment. It's just as simple as that. It doesn't matter what teammate it is; they're also runs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not convinced about much of that. I think that there's something else going on behind the scenes. I don't think Red Bull are deliberately, spiking the car or something. But I do think that Max has. My suspicion is. Oh my goodness, my interruption. Okay, my suspicion is that Max has available to him, shall we say, more engine performance. I think that's probably what it comes down to. I think they're probably using up their engines a lot faster, a lot more than they're allowing Tsunoda to do. Let's put it that way, because it does seem to me that there are some things like top speeds, etc. Like in that particular race, for instance, they put on a bigger rear wing. They said after the race, they said, "Oh yeah, we put a bigger rear wing on Tsunoda. He should have had better tires than Max. He should have had higher top speeds through the corner. Neither of which was true, and he should have had a considerably lower speed down the straight, which also was true. So,
Yeah.
like, I really think it's not just that he's got these different setups that he's having to deal with. I think there's something else going on, and I do think it's likely to be engine performance. Go ahead.
I think it's the driving. Well, I understand your point. You might be right, but I don't think so. I mean, I think it's all the driving style. They the they try to put a bigger wing, in order to give you a little bit more confidence, but it doesn't happen because he's basically steering the car not the way that Max is steering the car. And
Agreed.
the
Agreed.
and the
Agreed.
and the proof is in the pudding. Verstappen
Right.
is so much faster than Tsunoda that he has to be that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the engine. You might be right, even if I don't know why they would do that. Because right now, I mean, they need all the help they can get, for Verstappen. So I don't know if there is a rationale behind it. It might be, which
Well,
is.
there is
But
that.
yeah, okay, yeah.
My rationale. Let me explain the rationale from Red Bull's point of view. They don't want to lose Verstappen. If Verstappen is too far behind, he gets to walk away from his contract. They know that their car next year is not going to be great. So literally, they may as well throw the kitchen sink at it. If they run out of engines 3/4 of the way through the season and have to take penalties to get more engines, so be it.
Well, I
So
mean, well, listen, you might be right, okay? And again, I'm not saying you're not.
No, I'm
thing
guessing. I'm
that-
totally guessing and making shit up here.
Yeah. No. I mean, the thing is that you got to also consider the fact that position in the championship is equals money for the team. So let's say that they're pumping, Verstappen engine a little bit more. Now we are 1/3 of the way to the championship, and those engines, have been proven to be bulletproof. At least, the Red Bull engines. By tuning down or not tuning up Tsunoda engine, if that is the reason, which I don't think it is, but if that is the reason, the only thing you're getting up is that you're going to lose money because the position championship. So again,
they don't care. They don't care about that, though. That's the point. If you think about this, right? There is a budget. We know that all the teams don't care about the budget much. They can all get round the budget to a certain degree. They all spend like 350 million plus anyway, right? By the time the bill comes in at the end. So to sneak in an extra few hundred million. And of course, the engines are excluded from some of that team thing as well. They pay a set amount for their engines. And if the engines... Go ahead.
You're not excluding. I mean, the budget is for development of the car, especially the next year car or whatever.
Yeah, but reliability doesn't come into it, though. So they can spend as much as they like on reliability.
Yes,
on the
but
engines.
if I mean, right now the problem with Red Bull is not reliability; it's to have a fucking good car, which is as good as the McLaren one, and that you make, with development and preparing for the car. And if you get lower in the championship, you get less money to spend. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Well, you get the same amount of money to spend. You just get more development time.
Yeah, which is what they need because McLaren.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't care about whether they finish 3rd or 4th in the Constructors' Championship. What they really want, of course, is Max to win his title. But of course, they don't have the Honda engine next year, right? So all I'm really saying here, I guess, is that there is an incentive for them to use their engines at higher power and maybe wear them out a little sooner. Without them going boom, of course, it's a delicate balance, but to give them somewhat extra performance that way, especially in qualifying, which I think is very noticeable when you look at the onboards between Tsunoda and Verstappen, right? He's just seems to have higher revs anywhere on the track, except the end straights.
I understand. I'm all just saying is that
okay.
I mean, you might be right, but it seems to me that if this is the tactic they're going for, they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Okay,
I mean, Red Bull is.
This is Nash says this is Tsunoda's worst weekend and directly off the back of a big crash at Imola. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe it is just his psyche that's cracking under the pressure of the Verstappen kind of myth, if you like. That is a good point. I'm just going on like practice. I noticed it in practice, really, when Verstappen just was able to bang in a quick lap at the end of free practice 3, and Tsunoda was still sitting there, just like going exactly the same speed he'd gone, even though he was on soft tyres, and really not doing much to get himself up the list. And you just expect something different if he had exactly the same car. You'd expect him to be, half a second off if Verstappen was a great driver, because Tsunoda's not slow. So I think there is something else going on there. Do you think Imola left Tsunoda a bit nervous, so he felt the downforce was needed to reassure him? Yeah, this is all plausible as well. This is all plausible. I just have a feeling it came into my head as one of my crazy, wacky conspiracy theories that, maybe in order to keep Verstappen, they're just giving him a lot more of the engine performance than he maybe should be getting compared to Tsunoda, simply to keep him in the team, as long as they can get to halfway through the season, which is, let's face it, 2 races away. And if he's still in third, then they get to keep him.
Again, as you know, Red Bull is not the powerhouse it used to be, so they got to be super careful, because that is not a team which is as appealing as it used to be. And if they really play those games, they have to find drivers, right? So if you ask anybody, you want to go to Red Bull 4 years ago, 5 years ago, everybody would have sold his mom. Right now, not so much. So yeah, they're going to be super careful.
Wants to go there.
Nobody
wants to go there because they don't want to. They don't want to be up against Verstappen, who gets all of the parts.
And I'm gonna add fuel to the fire by saying that there were rumors of Ferrari getting in touch with Christian Horner for next year. So which he denied in a weird way, I must say, because he said something.
If somebody put out a rumor that Ferrari were interested in me, I would also deny it in a weird way. Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, "Oh, that's good publicity."
So listen, there are two things. When he hears rumors,
sorry, I have to stop you. Bub says Verstappen is now trying to master the art of bumping into others without damage. I think he mastered that some time ago when he was.
He can give lessons to everybody. So
trying to be the bumpmeister.
Yeah. No. Two things about those rumors, really quick. Usually when you hear rumors, there is always something. It might not be the real truth, but there is something going on. First of all,
normally I would say yes, but not in Red Bull's case. Not in Red Bull's case.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. That's generally how it works in the pit. And the second thing is the way that he denied. He said at a certain point, "My Italian is not as good as Briatore." He said, "My Italian is not is as good as Briatore's English."
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Which is weird, because who is the one that is not speaking Italian after 2 years in Ferrari still?
Is it Vassar?
Yes. So see what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's free. It was a weird way to cop out, from that thing. So
yeah.
Okay, so what about this as regards to Verstappen and Red Bull? The lower down the Constructors' Championship Red Bull finish, the more wind tunnel and testing time they will be allocated for next year. Could they be doing it deliberately in order to gain the advantage over the other teams? Do you think? It would be
okay. So yeah, but that is the weird thing, because the advantage that it will have is not going to be for next year. It's going to be for 2027. And the new car is coming up this year, 2026. So I don't know.
Could you just ask that question again quickly for me?
Sure. The lower down the Constructors' Championship Red Bull finishes.
Oh, I see. Yes.
The more testing time and wind tunnel time they'll be allocated for next year.
Yeah.
That's how
for
I
next
think
year,
it works at the moment.
That's right.
So, is it a deliberate move to gain that advantage with the testing time, wind tunnel time, etc., or can we just say that the other drivers can't cope with the Verstappen car?
Yeah, I mean, I firstly they haven't had their. I believe their wind tunnel is not up and running yet, so they're still not getting the benefit from finishing third last year. And secondly, sorry again.
They're still using the Cold Warrior, are they?
Yeah, it's still Cold War. Because they haven't managed to get their engines. They switched their money straight to their engine manufacturing, trying to get that ready. But apparently that's not coming along very well either. So I think they're in big troubles for next year, regardless. However, Red Bull have a habit of just producing good cars, not just because of Newey either. So if they've managed to get like a 4-time champion car out of a Cold War era like technology, that says something for how good that company really is at producing race cars. And I think that now they've built their own engine factory, and they've always had that. By the way, just to point this out, Red Bull have always taken engines from manufacturers, then taken them apart and rebuilt them themselves, adding little bits and pieces. Right? They've always rebranded them. So, I just don't put it beyond the wit of Red Bull to throw money at this, especially as they have the excuse now of reliability on the engine side to throw a lot of money in there and, produce something quite decent at the end of the day. The issue is that their electronics aren't going to be up to scratch. Unlike the other teams, like especially Honda apparently, and especially Mercedes, who have apparently made a crack of her engine for next year with the steps forward in their, what do they call them? Battery technology apparently has taken a huge step forward. And if that's the case, then Red Bull are going to be nowhere. And if Verstappen is there, right, next year, then he won't be able to get out till mid-season. So he's fucked for next year. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's kind of losing it a little bit now, because he realizes if he doesn't win this year, then he's not going to get a chance for another couple. Same thing I think that Hamilton's going through in some sense.
Yeah, there's also a thing that the new wind tunnel in Milton Keynes won't be ready until 2026. So I don't think they're gonna fully use it for the 2027 car.
Okay.
So
they got no choice because they not fully use it, but they have no choice. But they have to produce an engine, right? So.
Yes. No, I was just talking about the wind tunnel situation, not the engine.
Yeah. And unless this is part of the deal to get Tsunoda into the car, is that maybe we can extend that deal for another year? Because this year, of course, they weren't supposed to have the Honda engine, but they had to delay it because the factory wasn't ready. So maybe they're doing the same thing, and that's why Tsunoda's going to be there till the end of the season, if not next season as well. We'll find out, won't we?
It's really tricky. I can tell you from personal experience when making engines for the motorcycle that the only persons that know exactly how the engine is running are the guys at the test bench, and those are not the people that go on the track. So if we got some rumors, it must be from somebody inside Milton Keynes headquarters directly, because I can guarantee right now nobody else knows how an engine works except the people at the factory, and strictly at the factory, and they're not the same person you find on the track. So that is, trust me on that.
Of course I trust you. I trust you on many more things than that alone.
Can I just answer Laura specifically?
Yes, please do. Which question?
Laura, I'm not sure it's the driver that's sacrificing. I think it's maybe Red Bull that's sacrificing a driver.
Oh yeah,
I think that's more the problem, Laura.
Yeah, absolutely.
When
I don't think they're sacrificing either. This is why I think that Verstappen is being given something extra rather than rather than Tsunoda is not being given enough, right? So all of the new parts have gone to Verstappen. We know that, right? They gave Tsunoda a different rear wing in this particular thing, maybe for the reason that Fabio said, which is to give him more confidence. I don't think so because, well, maybe I do. This is one of those circuits that you want. You don't want a car with a huge amount of oversteer, right? You really don't want that in this particular circuit because the rear tires, it's rear tire limited. So why would you want a really oversteery car? That doesn't make any sense. So I do think that that's the case. But nonetheless, that doesn't account for why he's so slow in that car. If he would have finished 15 places higher or something in a racing bull, that doesn't make any sense because of course the Red Bull could be set up like the racing bull. I mean, these cars are, ultimately very flexible in that sense.
I'm quite sure that if you give Red Bull to anybody but probably Lewis Hamilton, that car is the most oversteering car there is, unless you drive it the way that Max Verstappen drives. That is my impression.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Let me just go through a couple of chat things here. I wouldn't mind giving the Red Bull to Hadjar now. Wow. Yeah. I mean,
I'm with you, Bob.
I think that would be very brave for Hadjar to accept, number one. And I don't think he's such a stunning driver that even he's going to take it. You're saying that he's so much better than Perez. He's so much better than Tsunoda. I don't think so. Tsunoda in that racing bull was phenomenal. He beat everybody that came up against him. He's beaten Lawson. He's beaten Ricciardo. Go ahead.
No, sorry. You said something interesting. I wanted to say, I just forgot. I took a note for it. Tsunoda, I think he qualified like half a second from Verstappen, if I'm not wrong. Something like that.
Yeah. It's more than that. I thought it was 7/10, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, but let's say half a second-ish, 6/10. Perez used to qualify half a second or 6/10 from Verstappen. The difference was that car, at the time was so much better than the others that Perez, still qualifying like half a second from Verstappen, he managed to get second or third. And now everything is way more closer, and Tsunoda is like 12 or 11. So what I'm saying is that there is not too much difference between Verstappen and Tsunoda right now on times. It's just that the car is not as good as it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me just go through a few more of these things. But Hadjar could be thinking he will be the one. That was Bob Elvis in relation to let's give Hadjar the car now. I really don't think that's very good for Hadjar, but there we are. Hello to Chemo. Thank you, Chemo Serbi. Thank you very much for coming by. We really appreciate it. And thank you. And that then Laura says, competitive people have a lot of ego, even if it's only dominating their teammate, especially their teammate needs to be dominated. That's the big thing in Formula One, of course. So you're absolutely right there, Laura.
Or motorsports, your teammate is the first contender.
Yeah. Hadjar had a very impressive race yesterday. Also very, very true, Laura. He's been outstanding these last few races. He really has. But as Nash says, and we agreed with this, that's for sure, at least Fabio did, Tsunoda would be doing even better than Hadjar if he had the V-carb. Absolutely, Nash. I mean, you're spot on once again. So
could it be the case that Isaac will hijack Tsunoda's seat?
Oh, I'm loving it. I mean, like, I hope he doesn't, because it's a
Yeah.
curse. It's a curse. And I think personally that Isaac Hadjar is a very talented young race driver, one of the best of the rookies. He's up there with Antonelli. And I just think that, you know, Antonelli is really struggling in that Mercedes right now. He has for a couple of races. He always goes through this. He did the same thing in Formula 2, didn't he? He got off to a really great start for 6 or 7 races, just increased his pace race after race after race. He learnt. Then he hit his kind of level and had a bit of a rocky patch in the F2 cars. But he'd done enough in the first few races because of results to show that he should be given the F1 position. And again, given that more so he didn't go to another team, I feel somehow. And he's learnt fantastically well in the first few races of Formula 1. He started off rocky, a couple of crashes, but then he started like getting closer and closer to George. And as he got closer and closer to George started pulling away, just to show how difficult. But of course, he's a rookie. These are Formula 1 cars. The G-forces are a lot higher. And just like with most racing drivers, when they go into single-seat racing, it takes a while to get used to the strength required to drive these cars at their limit all the time. Russell's been there a few years. He was already a well-trained man anyway. And Antonelli wasn't. He wasn't even a man when he stepped into this particular Formula seat, you know, racing. So I do think that Antonelli's just struggling now, A, due to fatigue, and B, just due to the complexity of driving a Formula 1 car. And Hadjar doesn't need that extra pressure put on him right now, I feel. That's what I think.
I don't think that Antonelli is struggling right now. My impression is that Toto Wolff is actually, I mean, when he chooses Antonelli, he's shooting for the long run. And he knows that Antonelli still has to learn the circuits and learn the car. So my impression is that Toto Wolff either talked with Antonelli or, you know, they had a conversation or whatever, and basically told him, you know, listen, we know you're fast. You've proven the first, you know, step of the season. You gotta take your time. Don't worry. You don't have to perform every time. Learn, you know, the things, the ins and outs, and we will eventually have to sacrifice you for Russell, because Russell right now is way more consistent. He knows the car, he knows the procedures, he knows everything. Take your time to learn. Basically, he's doing the reverse Helmut Marko, if you get what I mean, you know?
Yeah.
So that would be my impression.
I agree, but I think there is a fatigue factor as well. I really do. This is at the end of a triple header. His engine broke, but he looked absolutely shattered afterwards when he was talking to his engineer straight after, when he walked back to the pits. It was very hot that day. Nothing like Singapore, but it was still a very hot day there. And it was probably the most extreme conditions that he's probably faced so far in a Formula 1 car. Yeah. So I just think that there is a little bit more to it. And I've seen this in, like, especially in the American races, in like the first year, the rookies in IndyCar, they drive on such difficult circuits because of the bumps and stuff. They're not like, you know, billiard table circuits, you know, so they take a year to get their muscles together to be able to handle the G-forces and the bumps. It really is that difficult. And I think it's the same thing here. The G-forces between F1, F2 and F1 are night and day. Here they're absolutely night and day because of the downforce difference, you know. So I do think that all of the rookies tend to suffer in their first year. And that's why when you see a rookie like, and I'm trying to think, I mean, Max suffered, right? I mean, his first couple of years in Formula 1 were pretty dreadful. You know, promising still for a 17-year-old, but still pretty dreadful compared to the other rookies around him. Very few haven't. If you think about back to Leclerc as well, his first year, he suffered, right? He made silly mistakes and stuff, concentration mistakes, because there's a lot going on in a Formula 1 car. There's very few drivers, and I guess the first one that comes to my mind is Lewis Hamilton as a rookie, that was, you know, pretty bulletproof, apart from the one mistake that lost him the championship at China, where he drove into a gravel trap. Anyway, and I think it's the same for Antonelli. He's going to suffer for the rest of the year now. He's not really going to find it much easier because he needs an off season to come back and recover. But I think next year he will be the real deal. And I'm hoping that Hadja will be the same. He'll just have a consistent year still. But he's going to just reach the level of that car and not be able to drive it at the level that a champion can. That's my lucky guess anyway. Lucky, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I've got a theory about Hadjar. We've got Lewis Hamilton, 7 times world champion, father Anthony Hamilton.
Yeah, that's right.
Hadjar at the start of the year, if you remember, binned it in Australia, got a hug from Anthony Hamilton and words of encouragement, and has been the best of the rest Red Bulls since. Maybe it's something to do with Anthony Hamilton and his magic touch, his magic hug.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. I had forgotten that, actually.
Yeah.
Of course, Hamilton's dad gave Hadjar a lovely cuddle and said, "Don't worry about it, son.
Exactly.
You're a rookie. It's just that's how it is. Pull yourself up and get on with it."
Yeah. Maybe he's got this special touch, has Anthony Hamilton. But listen, we're going to have to talk about Verstappen and his adventures with George Russell. Laura says that she was totally surprised, and here's the thing. That move was a pissed off sim racing driver move. I've seen that so many times in sim racing. That's the exact thing they do. If they think there's been an injustice, they have to get back in there and get their revenge no matter what. And that's exactly what Verstappen was doing.
Yeah. Make it a 2-hour live today, Bub says. Thanks, Nash. I completely agree with what Nash is saying here as well, by the way. It takes years to get to the very top. And, it took Verstappen a long time. That's what's so special about Hamilton, of course, is that he almost won it in his rookie season. Apart from that mistake, of course. There you go. And that goes to show. But there's a lot to do inside the cockpit besides just driving. Another reason that we all admire Alonso so much, of course, is because he races everybody's race at the same time as his own. So that's just how much little he has to spend on driving. Laura says, I'm not sure about that. I've seen a number of drivers do brilliant in their first season. I placed my first bet after seeing Villeneuve race the first with Williams in '97.
Villeneuve was 32, I think, at that point in time, wasn't he? He'd already been an IndyCar champion, and he'd done a lot of motorsport before he got to Formula One.
Yeah, he came with a lot of expectation, shall we say.
And his dad was Gilles, for goodness sake.
And I think Fabio agrees with you, Bub. So just for Fabio, we're going to run late today. We're going to run extra late today just for Fabio. I'm going to keep on ranting. Okay?
Jesus Christ.
You won't get me to stop. Okay. So I think we've covered most of the points here. Have we? Is there anything else that anybody wanted to bring up about the race or about?
Real quick, MVP for me, Hülkenberg and Hadjar. But Hülkenberg fucked me sideways. Jesus Christ.
I think probably the most embarrassed driver of the weekend would be Lewis Hamilton, having to suffer the indignity of Hülkenberg going past him.
Yeah. Bob says Red Bull dropped the ball last 10 laps with the change to hard tyres and the let Russell overtake order. I don't think they had any choice about the tyres. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think I disagree with what Fabio said earlier. If they'd kept him out there, I think he would have still finished in 10th place, right? Because everybody would have just gone by him because everybody had at least new soft tyres. So I think if they just left him out there on mediums, that would have been him done.
You have to pass. You have to pass Verstappen on the track in Barcelona, which is not an easy feat. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It would have been
the way Lewis lost.
It would.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said it would have been in front, so everybody would have to pass him in Barcelona.
Yeah.
With only 6 laps to go, so maybe Piastri would have done it. I don't know about Norris because he chickens out when he's so.
Come on.
Let's say that let's say that Piastri overtakes him after 1 lap. Okay, it's 5 laps. It's going to take 3 laps for Norris to overtake Verstappen, and Leclerc in 2 laps would never be able to do that because it would probably not be close enough and all that shit. So yeah, I mean they really dropped the ball. I think Verstappen would have got the podium if they didn't change tires.
Yeah, I completely disagree. I think Lewis's tires didn't manage to warm them up on the warm up laps or behind the safety car, and he dropped like a stone. So I just don't see it. And he had fresh tires on, unlike the others. My personal opinion, not a chance. Everybody would have been past him pretty damn quickly. I mean, Alonso was overtaking on the outside of turn 3, for goodness sake.
Yeah, but I mean, Alonso is fucking mental. I mean, again.
Right.
So if Alonso was driving the McLaren instead of Norris, I would have told you, yeah, I mean, they would have passed Verstappen the first 2 laps. Because Alonso would have probably overtook, both him and Piastri, because fuck it, right?
Well, there we go. That's all I wanted to hear you say. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, my MVP, Piastri. He drove a faultless race. Really very clever race. I think he took advantage of every single situation he possibly could, and he drove without mistakes, as you would expect from somebody in the front with clean air over their wheels.
Definitely Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg, which was driving the Binotto. The car of Binotto, the Binotto. And also keep in mind that Hülkenberg passed Hamilton with the Binotto, and Binotto is the one who says, I would have never taken Hamilton. So that was, wow. I mean, I'm sorry for Lewis, but that was, fantastic to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't get his tires warm. I mean, I don't know what the fuck happened to him, but it shows you just how, if you've got bad tires around Barcelona, you are fucked. Funny story, F1 story. Mansell moved to IndyCar after Williams refused to pay him $1 million per race. True. After 2 years in the US, when he came back to F1, he was too fat to fit in an F1 car. Yeah, well, he also made some serious errors in F1 in IndyCar, and fucked his back up even more than he did in F1. So I'm not surprised. Minnow, okay. Too many of you can eat buffets for Mansell. Yeah, very true. Nash, why did Alonso go around T3? Go around on T3, turn 3 every time? Did they not have the straight line speed to pass at T1? Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. And I don't know why either, because they've got a Mercedes, haven't they? Is that right? They've got a Mercedes in the back of that Aston?
They have indeed.
Yes, they do. Indeed. So I don't understand exactly, other than setup. They obviously, their car is really bad on tyres, both tyre warm-up and longevity of tyres. That would be my guess. So they probably just chucked a load of downforce on the car and said, have at it. And I think he did say something about that after the race, that he was very disappointed because they put too much downforce on and he didn't have enough straight line speed. But like Alonso, you do what you got to do, I guess. As Fabio said, I think Fabio is typing out a response to you as we speak. I could see it happening now, Nash.
No. I was typing something different. Alonso drove a brilliant race. I mean, he got out, almost got to the points. I mean, yeah, fantastic race. So it was
he did get points.
Yeah. So sorry, he got points for the first time. So yeah, fuck yeah.
No, I don't think he did he? I don't think he did.
I don't know. I think he got points.
He got points. He got the last point.
Oh, okay. So Verstappen finished 9th?
Let me just check. I'm looking at race results right now.
Everybody moved up a point.
So Alonso was ninth.
Ninth then, yeah. Okay, well, there you go. Fair enough. Laura says, is it an older off-spec Mercedes engine? No, it's a straight customer engine, this year's engine. And allegedly, it's exactly the same as the Mercedes engine as well. So no differences. They obviously have a better integration into the car, especially the chassis, because they get their engine specs before everybody else, of course. So they're able to design their chassis and their engine in parallel, whereas all of the customer teams get the engine afterwards and then have to design the chassis to it. So there's a slight advantage there for Mercedes, of course. I think that's about it. I think Alonso said afterwards that they'd put a lot of downforce on the car, and he didn't have the straight line speed. Somebody else complained about that as well, that finished at the back. I can't remember who it was. It's probably Tsunoda. But there we go. Anything else, gentlemen?
Nope.
You feel certain? You feel certain? Okay. Just a quick question to you, Fabio. Would you like to see Christian Horner as the managing director, whatever, team principal at Ferrari?
So, yes. I mean, I think Christian Horner is an excellent manager. So, yeah, I would love to see him instead of a sir, for sure. The thing is that what is missing, in my opinion, in Ferrari is a technical director.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm still pining to the times where we had Montezemolo and Forghieri, the manager and technical director. I mean, the thing that Ferrari literally invented, and now everybody is doing but Ferrari, which is drive me to the fucking wall. But yeah, I mean, owner instead of a sir all the time. I mean, it would be another bloodbath, because when people come, they bring their people, so there is another fucking revolution inside. But I've always thought that Christian Horner is a bloody excellent team manager.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would tend to agree. I mean, what he's done with that team is quite exceptional, considering the budgets they've had and the technology they've had. Halsey, hello, Simon. Hello, Halsey. Thank you so much for stopping by. We really appreciate that. Please remember to like and subscribe and all the good stuff. Another fun fact from Laura: the Transformer Megatron got its name from the 1970s McLaren engine. Okay, I did not know that, but there we go.
I thought it was an 80s engine. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got no idea. Anyway, I think that's about it. I think we're going to go to our last segment now. Please. Lucky, do you have anything you wanted to add about the race or Formula One in general?
Lance Stroll's a twat.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't ready for it. And who says that?
Mike Crack says that.
I thought it did. Okay, thank you so much. Now we're going to go to our last section. Remember, everybody, this is all for people in the comment section as well. Please answer as soon as you can. We will give you a little time to do that. This is the section we like to call We Didn't Talk About Norris. Oh, yes, Nash, we didn't talk about Norris, did we? Unlucky, I feel, in some ways. He was very close to taking the pole, as always. In qualifying 2, he put the fastest time in by some time. And then when they turned the engines up in qualifying 3, he didn't manage to stick it. And he was disappointed. He said he made a mistake warming the tyres up, and he knew it before he'd even started the lap. So there you go. But he was still close, got P2. And I was hoping that he could do something. But of course, both the McLaren started on fresh tyres. And that gave a big advantage to Piastri going into turn 1. And I think Morris was correct to back out of the crash with Verstappen that undoubtedly would have happened. And from that point on, he was only ever coming second. So that's my personal view of Norris. No, what have you got to say about it? Oh, Megatron was a 1980s turbo BMW engine. I have no fucking idea, guys. Just start an argument right now.
Well, I'll tell you, actually.
You mean Lando Norris,
if
the
we're
Irish
going to be
driver? Yeah.
Yeah.
If we're going to be technical about the BMW engine, it was actually
you want to go
based
off that,
on a 1970s engine that was in the BMW 2000s and 2002 saloons. So it was based on a 70s engine, but it was in Formula 1.
No, that's not. I mean, it's too late to get into that. Just make a note. There is a way more than that.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll talk about that next week.
Yes. Just make a note of it, Lucky.
Sorry,
we'll talk about it.
I'm just going to interrupt you both, right? Because you're talking nonsense. But apart from that, I want you to talk some more nonsense about Norris having a poor start. Who would believe it?
We do that every race. We do that every race.
It's fucking unbelievable. Oh, that has never happened. It's incredible.
Yeah. Also, the lights did go out very quickly. The start went almost as soon as the fifth light was out, or as soon as it was out, almost the start was off. So, or I should say, yeah. Normally they hold the fifth light on for a little bit of time. It went straight away, and I was surprised at how many people got good starts. To be honest with you, Hamilton and Piastri and Verstappen and Russell all got good starts. Whereas the others not so much.
I think the Lando Norris. I think the Lando Norris is actually looking at the 5 lights on his steering wheel and not the one over there. But those, I mean, somebody should tell him. Okay, those are the 5 red lights. That means that your engine is in the proper, range. Don't look at them; they won't go off. It's the one up you got to look at. So maybe I don't know.
I mean, you're absolutely right. He has a history of getting poor starts, and we thought he got over it like 3 races ago, but no, obviously it's back again. Fabio, was it? I was running out of memory. I read it in F1 magazine. Maybe I misunderstood. Those are Fourier lights? Maybe. Fabio, you said something funny.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you're technically right, Laura.
I didn't have to pay anybody to do that. So
there are 4 lights. That's probably why he's getting wrong. 5 lights. I'm sure there's 5 lights, but I don't know what that means, Laura. Sorry. And Halsey says hello, Fabio. Yeah. There we go. Ciao. Ciao. Behrman had an unlucky race, I thought, by the way. Just to throw that in there. Okay, on to the last.
Are you really trying to lengthen this to 2 hours? Because you said so.
Maybe, but not deliberately so.
Because listen, I'm going to take a shit and be back in 20 minutes if you so say so. So just so you know.
Very much like I feel like Verstappen answering questions about George Russell right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, just to put that aside, we're going to move on to the last segment, I hope. And Fabio does as well. This is a segment we call Myth or Quiz. And let me just play the jingle, for which I paid an extraordinary amount of money.
Yes.
Is it a quiz? Is it a myth? Is it a myth or a quiz? Or a quiz or a myth? Is it a myth and a quiz? It's Quiz and Myth with Lucky. Over to you, Lucky.
It certainly is. It certainly is. As you'll see, I've put a couple of pictures in Discord. Could we have the first one? And the question is, once you get this picture up.
Where's the picture? Is it in Discord?
It is indeed, yeah. There's 2. We want the first one first.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I recognize that car. Yeah.
Possible?
It is possible. Let me just, takes a little while for me to get everything together. There we go. And there it is.
Yeah, that is a Porsche 914.
No, is it?
It is indeed. It's a Porsche 914. Wow. Now, what is significant about a yellow Porsche 914 in Formula One. Now, to give you a bit more of a clue, there's also another picture that Simons is going to put up.
Okay, I have to get rid of that one to do that. Hang on a minute. Oh, hang on. Let me just do that. Oh my God, that looks disgusting. Oh dear, they had no taste back then, did they? There we go.
Okay, you'll see that's the same model of car, but with added clues as to why it is significant. And we've already had an answer.
Yeah, Laura's put up her answer. It's a pace car.
Indeed it is. But
yeah,
Laura,
I mean, it says on the car, literally. It just says on the car.
Well, it's not just any pace car. It's the official pace car.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
So what's the question?
Yes. What's significant about that car in Formula One? Laura, try and give us a bit more to pace car, and you will get the point for today.
It was the first safety car in F1.
Well, unfortunately, Fab beat you to it.
Okay, there we go.
It was the first ever safety car in Formula One. Now, I will give bonus points, by the way, to anybody who can tell me what year and what Grand Prix that car appeared in.
Is it Canada?
Possibly.
Probably. Is it Canada? I don't know. Let's have a guess here.
Well, it's a Porsche 914, so think about when that was.
I've no idea, mate. I'm just totally guessing now. Pace cars, I don't know, 88?
Oh, no, you're miles out.
Okay.
I put in one more picture in a Discord.
Okay.
To let everybody see. And this is the actual event.
Wow, there you go.
Canadian Grand Prix with this
Moss
pace
Park.
car.
I think that's Moss Park, isn't it?
We're getting close for Laura and Nash with the answer there.
Nash 72. What year? That was the question.
Yeah.
And Laura says GP 1970. But like we said, it's Canada.
Mm-hmm. They're both close, but they're not right. And Nash is closer.
Oh. Okay, so 73 then.
It is indeed 1973.
Okay, thank you, Nash, for giving me the answer. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Bob says 73 as well. Probably wrote that before I actually said it as well.
Yeah, well, we'll give Bob points as well.
Yeah.
So I think everybody got a point there, didn't they? Laura said pace car. Fab got the first pace car. You got the year, and people got points for it. Everybody gets a point. Congratulations!
I think everybody gets one. Is that Moss Park? Do you know? Let's can we look at that. Now?
I think it Molson Park.
It
is. They call it that.
It's Mosport Park. Yeah.
Mosport Park. Yeah, that's
what
we call it.
Yeah. Mosport Park. Okay. Now, there was something strange about this race as a result of the pace car. Does anybody know what that was?
Hang on a minute. Going through the guests, mine was a complete guess. Everybody guessed except Fabio. You actually knew that. Okay.
I could. Yeah, that's why I just say silence for all the other one because I understood I was way too from, but I just fucking knew that I had to. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, it makes sense now. As soon as she said that, I went, yeah, it makes sense. It's lateral thinking. Yeah, lateral thinking, Fab. Yeah. Sorry, what was the question again? Could you repeat the question, please?
There was something weird happened in the race because of the pace car, basically.
That's correct.
Yeah. The question. Yeah. So.
I think it's to do with lapping, isn't it? Someone should have been unlapped, or they were in the thing, but they actually finished in a higher place because they were a lap behind or something.
You're along the right lines.
I think they finished behind the pace car, the safety car.
No, it was the safety car that actually caused the problem. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, maybe I got it, but yeah.
Okay, so they didn't pick up the leader, presumably then.
Yeah, I got the wrong position.
The circuit was called Mosport Park. Yeah. That's where the Canadian Grand Prix used to be before they built the Chauffeur, which actually wasn't called that when they first built it either. Sorry, go ahead, Lucky.
That's all right. So yeah, what was the unusual thing? I think Fabio was the way to answer, weren't you? Fab, or did you give an answer? I can't remember. No.
Yeah, I think we both gave an answer.
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to have a guess?
No, we're waiting for the answer now. Oh, does anybody want to guess in the chat? Just if you.
What was the problem that the pace car actually caused?
Right. So yeah, just have a go. I think we both answered something, didn't we? I can't remember what you said, Fabio. Do you want to repeat what you said?
Well, I said, the first one wasn't right. I said, something along the line what you said. You just didn't get the leader.
The leader. Yeah. So the leader went round an extra lap or something like that. And
you're so close. You're so close.
Yeah, so close.
It was too slow. When hasn't it been too slow? There we go. Especially looking at that car. Jeez, must have been terrible for them. It was an oil spill, Nash says.
It wasn't an oil spill, no. It wasn't.
Okay, so I'm trying to think.
So, okay, let me recap. They didn't end behind the safety car. And it's the thing that it got in the wrong position is something that you said it's close, but not right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I have none.
The actual reason it came out, the safety car came out, was because Scheckter and Francois Sever collided and blocked half the circuit.
The flag flew off, yeah, and killed somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody did get the rules wrong, Laura. You're right there. However, it was the pace car driver that got the rules wrong and caused the issue.
Right. Okay.
Or kind of got the rules
So
wrong.
they didn't allow the people to overtake the safety car to put them in the proper position.
You're all really close, but
fuck me.
Well,
I mean,
hang on. Before we go any further, I just want to point out we've got 27 minutes left to guess this, so don't hurry. Everybody, take your time, relax. There's plenty of time. Laura says it stayed out too long.
That wasn't the case. That wasn't the case.
Yeah, I thought. I'm trying to think now.
I mean,
I can't. I wasn't watching Formula One in 1973, by the way, just to point this out. But I did hear about something like this. But I don't know. Once I said, that it didn't pick up the leader.
Okay, so
I don't know. Then the leader went by. That car pulled into the pits before everybody had got round again for the leader to be picked up. How about that?
You were closer to start off with, but I think we're gonna have to give it. I think we're gonna have to give.
I'm going to end the stream now.
I mean,
we're gonna have to give the answer. I think because you're all fucking hopeless. Okay,
yes,
here's what happened. They sent this pace car out, as I said, in lap 32 due to the Scheckter and Sever crash, and it was supposed to, of course, pick up the leader, who was Peter Revson. However, it didn't pick up Peter Revson. It picked up Howden Ganley, who was like halfway down the field, which caused loads and loads of problems with the timing and who was adjudicated to have won the race. And it wasn't until 3 hours afterwards that they actually gave Peter Revson.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
I mean, that's what that literally said. He didn't pick up the leader.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's not what the problem was, that it was caused.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I asked what problem
fair enough.
it caused. So
Fair
anyway,
enough.
3 hours after the race, Peter Revson was declared the winner of the 1973 Canadian Grand Prix. Now, Colin Chapman actually thought that Emerson Fittipaldi had won. And of course, he went down to the start-finish line and threw his cap in the air in the traditional manner that he had. But of course, it wasn't his driver. It was actually Peter Revson who won the race.
Yeah. And I think Jackie Stewart said something about this, didn't he, at the time? Can you remember, Lucky, for a point for you?
I don't know. Did he?
Oh, yeah. What he actually said was, it's a great, great day for motor racing.